Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV. And as you can see, we are joined once again by John Bowler. John, thank you very much for coming down.
My pleasure, Greg, anytime.
I wanted you to be here just really to have a catch up and talk about, well, what's going on in the industry. Well, I do want to talk about BAPIA and how that's going for you and all the rest of it, but it's been a while since we've had a sit-down chat on camera. So I just really wanted to see your thoughts on everything balloon and party related. So to start with, how do you feel the industry is doing?
Actually, I think it's doing okay. Obviously, there have been adverse moments recently with helium, and the ongoing environmental issue is always a problem. But I know there's lots of work going on in both respects to work with those and to try and improve what we're doing.
Yeah.
Certainly environmentally, I know that different manufacturers are working on different products with different materials. Certain things like cups and sticks, balloon weights, are being developed now out of different products. We've seen some on the market already, and there are some new ones to come. So that's very positive.
Yeah.
I think there are still big battles to be fought in terms of the environment. I think we are doing, as an industry, some good work. We've got organisations such as EBPC, the European Balloon and Party Council, which is working very, very hard to encourage the European authorities, if you like, not to ban balloons and to understand that balloons are not generally bad. We've got PIBA, of which I'm a part of the UK office. Again, is trying very hard to encourage people not to release balloons and to dispose of them environmentally positively. And they're also working to do some testing to establish quite how long it does take for a balloon to biodegrade. So, like any industry, there are issues that need to be resolved and worked upon, but that's happening. And we are, I think, as an industry, fortunate to have some very passionate people at EBPC and PIBA. EBPC are particularly good because they are working with the European councils to ensure that our best interests are maintained. They did very well in terms of not having balloons put on the banned list, which was a possibility, but they did an awful lot of lobbying and they were very successful.
Yeah.
So yes, there are issues out there, but people are working very hard to resolve those and to ensure they don't cause us too many problems.
Yeah, I think it seems to have, at least publicly, the whole environmental thing seems to have calmed down a little bit, but I know that's going to raise its head at some point in the future. So I think you're absolutely right in that the manufacturers need to be stepping up, need to be thinking about, okay, how are we going to combat that? And if it is cups and sticks made out of cardboard, if it's cups and sticks made out of anything else that's completely biodegradable, it's these sort of things that have to be looked at. In fact, a cardboard cup and stick, if you consider, what I'm talking about a lot at the moment is a latex balloon being probably one of the most environmentally friendly products, full stop. Not in our industry, but full stop, because you don't have to kill a tree to make a balloon. And I think a lot of people don't realise that. Even with paper, a tree dies in order to produce paper, and as much as they can grow back, that doesn't happen overnight. Whereas a living tree can be used for many, many years to produce latex balloons. If you were to put that on a cardboard stick, for instance, in your McDonald's, that's a great message that the most environmentally product on a very environmentally friendly product. And I think there are positive things happening with the industry, and I look forward to more of that happening as well. Regarding the helium,
that's something I think, yes, the helium shortage has become an issue, but I think it shows the resilience and the creativity of the people in the industry, in that I'm not hearing a great deal of issue with that, insofar as I think many decorators have gone down the route of using airfield displays, and beautiful airfield displays that actually are creating demand from the public, and not just the public, but also in the commercial markets as well, where they want to do promotions, displays, create some interest in a product or a range or a certain building. And that is all being done with airfield, which is fantastic. It means that the industry still can carry on, is delivering different ideas to the end users and creating interest out in the streets, which is fantastic. So ultimately, I think that out of adversity, we've arrived at a point where we've got a different aspect in the industry, and people are looking for different things. It's an issue. There is a helium shortage, and it does affect helium-filled balloon offerings. But ultimately, I think as a professional industry, we've been able to get around that and still offer to the public and our clients what they want, or something different, something that sparks their interest, and they say, yeah, actually, I love that, I'll take that, please. So it's been an issue, but we've got around it, and eventually, I think as we all know, the helium situation will come back again, not necessarily the same prices, but the availability will eventually return when all the facilities come back online. And whether as an industry people will then offer as much helium work as they used to, I don't know.
Because people have moved on.
Absolutely.
And I think once people realise that with an airfield design, organic being a very key part of this, you can charge a lot more, but your costs are actually reducing down because you're not using helium.
Yeah.
So that gap is, that profit, if you like, is just increasing. So why would you offer helium when you can offer this air-filled solution that's going to make you more money? And I think there's also an element of sophistication coming back into, I know it's been happening for a few years now, but sophistication coming back into our industry. People used to think for weddings, for instance, balloons, a bunch of 3 latex balloons, and that was considered, that's a bit tacky sometimes. Whereas now, I think there's a lot of sophisticated design. Did you see Natalie's on Instagram the other day? Hello, Natalie, by the way. That was amazing.
Absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
I thought, I've mentioned it to Natalie, Nikki. I just felt that their design, that if you haven't seen it, it's a.
We'll put it on the screen if that's okay, Natalie.
A black, white, and sort of grey, silvery coloured. I don't know, we call it a hoop wreath, very large, and it just looks amazing. It absolutely looks stunning. And again, this kind of says that as an industry we are creative, and when we're pushed to it, we can come up with something different and change the industry to a large degree from what it used to be, and actually change people's perceptions of balloons, because not so long ago you would never have dreamed of something along those lines, and you'd have thought, no, it's just not possible, not doable, or not fancy enough. It looks so elegant and special, and there are lots of different designs like that out there, and people are coming up with different ideas, different ways of doing things, and I think we'll see a lot more creativity coming through, which is fantastic. We are, after all, effectively a creative industry, and we're proving that now, and we're seeing it more and more on all the social media and in promotions. Balloon clouds on ceilings. Again, not long ago that would have been laughed at. People would never even dreamed of it. But it's now becoming the norm. And I think they're fantastic. They're really, really good, really elegant, stunning, and they create a great impression.
Yeah, I completely agree, because I think if you've got that creative flair, you can just. It's almost like you can decide what price you want to charge, and people pay it if you're at that level. And obviously that takes practice and experience. But there are people out there that just, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And they do it from the very, very beginning, and they pitch right. They don't worry about the individual foil balloon or the 3 balloon bouquet. They go straight for that. That's what I want to do, and that's what I'm going to do.
I think there are many people who have been inspired by seeing organic decor particularly, to come and join the industry, and I've seen a number of people who literally wanted to come in and say, this is what I wanted to do, this is the sort of decor that I want to offer, and that's what's inspired them, which again is great, because the industry has to keep growing, and many people will feel that having a competitor come in is not good, but actually it's not such a bad thing. But there's always people who are leaving the industry, so somebody new coming in is not a bad thing. But it's nice to see people coming in from a different perspective. When I started, yes, it was, balloons on a table, maybe an arch, but now to see something completely different, and it's not, we've seen it now quite a bit, but generally the public haven't seen that much of it, so it's still very popular, still very original for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that will absolutely help the industry and continue to grow, and hopefully we'll then see some more creativity that takes another step on from organic, and something new will come along.
Yeah, no, I think it's great, and everything we've seen in the last few years, I think there is a risk that people won't go back to helium, so the helium producers might be, well, where's our customers? But we'll see. I think there'll always be a place for
Absolutely,
3 balloon bouquets and for arches, single line arches and all of that sort of stuff. And I know a lot of people still get their bread and butter through doing that. So, but talking of single foil balloons, we've talked about it, I think, before, supermarkets, card factory, the likes of that. There are still some people out there that try to compete in that sphere. What do you think about trying to compete with the £2.50 18-inch foil inflated with helium?
I don't think we're ever going to compete with them, but it not based solely on price. We have to compete with them in terms of what we can offer to the end user. Trying to compete on a single balloon is just impossible, and to a large degree doesn't show off our skills well enough. So we need to compete on what we can offer as a display, as a delivery, as a celebration, as a message. All of those things can be done so much better by a professional who can offer a customer a design that is bespoke for their certain needs, for their message, that can offer something different. Even, deliveries that may have a small sculpture in them that has a message, or this is what people want to see. And so often I see people who walk into a party shop and they see a really nice display in there and they say, that's what I want, because it actually it sends a message to whoever they want to give it to. And so they'll, where they may have gone into a supermarket and bought a balloon at £2.50, they've now seen something that actually expresses what they want to say much better, and they'll happily walk out with it, and they'll recommend it to friends and family as well.
Absolutely.
So I think trying to compete directly is not the way forward, but trying to offer and enhance the customer's message or their expression is what you need to do in order to get that business. There will always be an alternative cheap offering in terms of a single balloon from a supermarket or even a cheap retailer. Don't compete on that level. You really need to upsell and to give them something different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And whether that's an accessory that you offer with it, whether it's doing something unique and different, whatever it be, just make it stand out and make the customer walk. If they're coming past your shop window, they've got to stop and look at it and say, wow, I like that. Well, that's what I want.
It's happening at the moment, just before Christmas, with the elves in the stuffing balloons. Yep. So the sales of super stuffers have gone up massively in the last few months because people are preparing for this. But you can use that super stuffing machine and stuff balloons for all sorts of different occasions beyond the elves.
Absolutely.
But these elves are so different. You can't pick them up in a balloon. You can't pick them up in Card Factory or Morrison's or anywhere else. No. And that's unique. And again, you can almost charge not what you like, though there would be a limit on that, but you can still potentially make a lot more money than you can selling 20 single foil balloons. Yeah. So, and I think that is, you're right, it's not creative to inflate that foil balloon. If you want to offer it, still offer it, but charge the right amount.
Yep.
And if people say I can get it cheaper than that at Morrison's, well, okay, go to Morrison's and get it. But I think there's a lot more that we can offer as an industry, and the products, the innovation that we've got beyond an 18-inch foil. And I've said it before, I don't think you should try and compete with a single 18-inch foil, because you will ultimately lose. But add that value that people really do value, and they want to be seen as offering a good present. And that's what air-filled designs do. That's what something that's a bit more creative does. So,
yep, totally agree.
So talking obviously about the industry, you say we're doing okay, but we've talked about the problems straight away there of the helium, supermarkets, etc. But in essence, we've seen quite an increase. We have seen new people come into the market, but I think a good indicator would be BAPIA and your membership. How's your membership been doing?
Doing very well, actually, thank you. It's over the past year, if you compare numbers this year to last year, we are probably about 30% up on membership numbers, which is fantastic.
That's really good.
We're getting new people a lot of the time now, almost daily. And as always, you always see some drop off.
Yeah.
That's a given, and no problem with that. It happens. Any industry, people stop operating, whatever the reasons. But overall, we are still finding ourselves about 30% up on last year, which is fantastic.
So for people out there that might be watching for the first time, what is BAPIA?
BAPIA is the Balloon and Party Industry Alliance. We're a trade organisation set up to work for the industry, with our industry and with our members. We have in place a number of benefits for our members, which they're designed for the industry. As a member, you'll automatically receive public and products liability insurance, £10 million, employers liability insurance, £10 million, £100,000 of legal insurance cover, which includes a tax and legal helpline, and £100,000 of professional indemnity insurance cover. There's also discounted insurance offerings in place if you have a shop, so you can insure your business, your goods and stock, equipment, cash and till, that sort of thing. But even if you work from home, we've got a home-based cover in place that you can take up, so you can still insure your equipment and stock and everything against flood, fire, all this sort of stuff. So it gives you some protection, and as we know, some of the equipment that's around these days is expensive, and it's worth insuring. So that's in place. It's very economical, it's discounted, and it's designed as a package so that through the peak season, i.e. from October to the end of the year, when you've got Halloween, Christmas and New Year, the stock levels automatically increase by 30%, so you get hopefully adequate coverage. There are other benefits that we have in place for members, discounts with different wholesalers across the UK, including Balloon Market, and there's a closed Facebook group. There are discounted training opportunities. We run an active social media program where we promote members. You get space on our website so that when the public search the website, you can they'll find you, and hopefully they'll come and inquire of you. And we're always adding and looking to add more benefits to the list all the time for members. And things are looking very good at the moment.
Photo competition?
Yes, absolutely, yes. The monthly photo competition, I forgot about that.
And occasionally the prize is from Balloon Market?
It is indeed. Last month's was from yourselves.
It was.
Thank you very much. And there's 3 prizes each month. And it's open to all BAPIA members, and they don't have to be stunning photographs. Obviously, send in your best photographs, but there are 3 prizes, and one of those prizes is always a randomly selected winner. So it's not always based on how good the picture is, how good the design is. It literally randomly selected winners are there as well. So it's worth entering as a member. And they're good prizes.
But I think it's good for people to show their work to other people in the industry, because you get ideas and you get inspiration and all the rest of it. Okay. Well, that's BAPIA in a nutshell. You see, that says to me that the industry is growing. If you've had that sort of growth, and we're seeing an increase in what people are buying and an increase in customers. So thank you to everybody out there. I think it's very easy to see sometimes on social media where people are retiring or stop trading and start to think that the industry is dying. I genuinely don't believe it is. That there are the issues that we've talked about already, but I think it's very easy to look at the negative side and think that is actually reality, when in fact, if you look at the positive side a bit more, that is more likely to be the reality, and that's what we're seeing anyway.
I totally agree, and I think yes, you do see items for sale on social media where people are maybe closing their business, but they're actually as a percentage, it's a tiny percentage, and there's natural wastage through any industry.
Absolutely.
And so, obviously, when that happens, people want to try and recoup some money, so they'll put these items up for sale, and other people can benefit from that. But I agree with you, it's not a sign that the industry is declining, and certainly our figures would back that up, that it is actually still growing.
Yeah.
And I think many people look at it. And again, I go back to the organics thing, that I think people are seeing work like that and being inspired and wanting to join the industry. So yeah, I think it's still in a growth period.
Now, speaking of inspiration, there's a place that some people can go and be inspired, and that is Gosh.
Yes.
Do you want to explain? We've not talked about it for a couple of years, I don't think. I think we talked about it when we had a chat a couple of years ago. But you, as a group, support Gosh, don't you? Do you want to talk about that?
We love Gosh, and I could sit here and talk about it all day long. This is now, I think, our 7th year.
It's Great Ormond Street Hospital,
yes,
by the way.
Yeah. We started working with them, I think, about 7 years ago, through a guy called, some of you may know him, Roger Dawes, who introduced us to them, and we've not stopped working with them. Every year, they have parties for the children and carers who are at the hospital. It's really funny. Every time I talk about this, I start to get emotional. It's so odd. But we go in there every year, and with the support of manufacturers such as Qualitex, Amscan, BOC, Premium Blue Accessories, hopefully Grabo this year, we go in, and a team of about 25 of us, all BAPIA members, will go in there and decorate the function room, which is sponsored by the hotel. They give the function room to Great Ormond Street for 2 days effectively. So we will go in, we'll decorate it. We are restricted in so far as we can only decorate with non-latex balloons because of any potential latex allergies with the children. We spend the day decorating it, and then for the following 2 days, Great Ormond Street have 4 parties, and they will see something around 1,500 to 2,000 children, their family and their carers come through those parties.
Yeah.
And this is where I get really emotional, I've been to a couple of those parties, and it is incredible. I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to go round Great Ormond Street Hospital. They invited me to go and have a look and see what they do. And if you ever need inspiration, that's the place to go. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. The work that they do, how the children deal with it, is stunning. And the least I feel that we can do is give them a good party. And it's also great because it does showcase what we can do, showcases our products and our skills. And as much as, and I'm not in any way knocking it, but, we can raise money, and that's great. It's always fantastic. But to actually take our skills and our products in there and put smiles on children's faces, nothing like it.
Yeah.
It's superb.
I think it is inspirational, the people that go there that do help out. I mean, there's a bit of a lottery, isn't it? If people want to do it and then you choose so many people, because
we put it out to members. They're invited to register, and then at the end of the registration, we randomly select 25 people, and it's done. I use an online number generator, random number generator to generate numbers, and those people are drawn from the applications, and we then offer them places to come along for the day. And all the people that come, they will bite your hand off to be there. And there are people who've been there year after year. Every year they want to come. There's one guy, hi Mark, who I know is always the first person to stick his name on that list, always. And he has missed out a couple of years, but he actually was drawn again this year, and he loves it. And everybody does. We have a great day. It's slightly structured insofar as we have the team leaders, for want of a better word, who go there with a plan, but it is open to people to be a bit creative with the products that are there. There's a lot of networking that goes on, which I think is superb. I've seen a lot of relationships being built at Gosh, and they've survived for years, and there's some great friendships that go on after the event. At the end of the day, when it's all installed, we all sneak off to the bar and have a drink and a chat, and that socialising and networking for me, is one of the best parts of the day. Just seeing people really getting together, talking, and building relationships, which, I've seen them go away and they help each other and they talk to each other. And I think that's fantastic, and it helps the industry. And a lot of us work on our own. If you're an independent decorator, you'll go out and you'll work on your own frequently. It's so nice to have the opportunity to talk face to face to other people who are experiencing the same things as you, going through the same problems, and you can talk it through, or you can then follow up afterwards. And overall, the day, I love that day. It's probably my best day of the year, every year. So I look forward to it.
I hope it goes really well. When is it this year that you're doing it?
Wednesday, the 11th of December.
All right.
And then the parties are on the 12th and the 13th.
Yeah.
And I have to say, Great Ormond Street, fantastic charity, and the help they get. It's to see it all come together. The army come in.
Really?
They come in and they help because they have all these goodie bags that they put all the bits and pieces in the goodie bags.
Yeah.
And it's just to see all that come togetger is really quite incredible.
It's a great cause.
So I love it.
Great
Absolutely
cause.
love it.
Fantastic. Well, one thing that I do want to talk about, I do bang on about it sometimes, particularly with Mark and others, but is pricing, and I think this is key in our industry. And I know, and training. Obviously, Sue has been down. We've just finished really our first 12 months of training. Here at Balloon Market, and we've had Sue down, we've had Mark down, we've had Chris Horn, we've had others as well, and everybody that comes to the training feels normally very upbeat at the end of it, ready to go out there and do it. But one area that is taught on the training is pricing, on most training courses, and still sometimes people go out there and feel, oh, I can't charge that. What do you say to people when they say, oh, I couldn't charge that? Even though they might have been on a training course, they've got the confidence to go out there and do it, but when it comes to pricing, they feel a little apprehensive. I couldn't charge £350 for a demi-arch or whatever it might be. What would you say to them?
You need to have the confidence to charge the right money. It's so important, but to do that, you need to have the belief that what you're offering is worth that money. And that comes from the training and seeing the end product. It is critical. Businesses go out of business because they're not charging the right money. And I totally understand that when you look at balloons, you may think, well, actually, I can't charge whatever it is, £350 for an arch. But you can. It's your time, it's your investment in training, investment in your business, that it dictates that you have to charge that right money, because otherwise you will not survive. And ultimately as well, if you do a good job, the customer will pay that money for it. And a lot of it comes from, it is that confidence when you talk to your customer, that if you ooze confidence, they will pay it. If you actually go into a customer and you're unsure and you're not confident about what you're doing and what you're charging, then they will sense that. But if you go in there positive, confident, and determined to get that money and to get that work, then they'll pay it. That they feed off of you, I think.
I think you're absolutely right. It is the confidence. If you completely believe what you're offering is good value for money. So if you are doing that demi-arch, you are charging £350, and you think that is an absolute bargain for the impact that's going to have as people come into that room, that is an absolute bargain, then you will have no problem selling it. And if people challenge you and they say it's not worth £350, I can get it cheaper elsewhere, you can say, well, it is worth £350 and you won't get it cheaper elsewhere. Why won't I get it cheaper elsewhere? Because it's not me that's done it. And it's having that sounds a bit, cocky, but it's not. It's actually having that confidence, isn't it?
There is, I won't say it's a saying, but there's a comparison to that, which is that there's a guy called Rembrandt. Now, I don't know what he paid for his paint and brushes and his canvas, but it certainly wasn't millions of dollars. And yet you try and buy a Rembrandt these days and it's going to cost you millions of dollars. So it's not the actual cost of your products, it's your creativity, your expertise that you are selling. And it's the finished product that you're selling. So be confident, have faith and belief in yourself and what you're doing and what you're offering, and you will get that job. Fine, there will be some that will say no.
Absolutely.
There always will, and you've got to be prepared for the odd knockback. But don't allow those knockbacks to force you to reduce your profit, because you're worth every penny of that profit.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is hard. If people feel that they've not got the experience or knowledge, they feel they can't charge. But your customer, at the end of the day, doesn't really know how much experience or knowledge you have. All they need to know is that you're capable of doing this, and you know how to do it, and I'm trusting you, so I will pay you for that service. And you will get some people that say, it's only putting a few balloons up, as I've seen some comments on Facebook recently. And it's not. If people were to say that, it's like, well, there you go. I'll sell you a bag of balloons if you like. But that's not what people are after, and quite often I think they're just trying to negotiate down. But by having the confidence, if they want it badly enough and if they say, I can go somewhere cheaper and get it, it's like, well, why are you not there? And they will go for it. So I'm a big believer. I think what comes from the training that I've seen throughout this last 12 months, what it gives people more than anything else is confidence, absolute confidence, particularly in actually creating the things. But the ones that really take it on board and take the pricing on board, when they first say that it's going to cost you £350, say, they're feeling a little bit, and then the customer goes for it. I think, wow. It happened to me when I used to work on cruise ships many years ago, and I was serving the wine, and it was a couple, it was their anniversary, or they just got married or something, I can't remember. And I said, you just got married? Oh, well, it's got to be the best champagne we have, Dom Perignon, real tongue-in-cheek. And they said, okay. I was like, wow. And at the time, many years ago, that was $90 a bottle. And I used to get 15% on everything that I sold. So that was easy. That was better than selling an $11 bottle of wine. And, when I realized that just by doing that confidently, I could sell, I'll tell you what, my sales went up somewhat.
But your confident remark was actually relatively flippant, potentially, because it was, you didn't expect them to go for it. But because it was done with confidence, effectively, they drew from that. I said, absolutely. What else wouldn't expect anything else? So
but it was a special event for them, so it made it even more special. And I was friendly and fun, and the whole experience for them was great. So, and I think it is having that confidence. So
it is completely. And remember as well that when you look on Facebook and on other people's pictures, and you see that they've done some fantastic work in some fantastic venues, that should remind you and inspire you that these people aren't doing it for nothing. I assure you, they're not doing it for nothing. They're charging the right money. So the work is out there. People will pay for this work. So build up your confidence and go for it.
John, I could talk to you for another couple of hours.
I'll happily do so.
But I think we should draw the line there. Thank you very much for your input and your opinion of the state of the industry at the moment. Do you have a question of the week?
Question of the week. What would you like to see from your BAPIA membership in addition to what we currently offer?
So what new benefits would you like to see?
That's a great way of putting it, Greg.
For being a BAPIA member. Okay.
Yes.
I'm just thinking, because we write it on the screen, so it's got to be fewer words, John.
Okay,
there you go. It's on the screen. John, thank you so much.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, everybody out there, for watching. Thank you for subscribing. See you next week. Bye.